I'm in the game. I'm in the game. Hello, I'm in the video with my daddy.
What's going on, everybody? So this week, Fred's coming back on. We're going to talk about the group build, but the announcement right now is I finally hit 500 subscribers on my channel. So we're going to have a giveaway. It'll be the live stream will be tomorrow afternoon sometime. And that'll cover all the details. So hopefully you guys participate. I will see you guys in a minute. What's going on, Fred?
How about it, Josh? What's going on, buddy?
Not a lot, man. I just, enjoying a nice Saturday off. At this point.
I can relate to that, man. I tell you, it's Saturdays usually my build day, or I usually get up at about 6 o'clock. I have my morning coffee with on Saturdays with old Jeff Ciacanelli, old ferret boy, and we'll talk a little bit, do it, tell a few lies, chew it, just chew the fat, and then I'll get back, hit the bench, and whatever the day brings. So, but it's really it's my day off, and it's my day to do what I want to do. So,
Right.
really
Right.
appreciate you having me on here again. This is I tell you what, it's an honor to be a second go round on this, and it looks like you've done great with it. I tell you what, it's just that's one of my things I like to do on Saturdays when I can, is to sit back and and watch who all you've got and who you're interviewing. So my hat's off to you, and really appreciate you having me on again.
Yeah, no problem, man. It's been a process, right? Because you were one of the first 10 or so, right?
Yeah, I
From
remember. Yeah, I
my
remember
first,
we talked about
2
it a
years ago,
long time ago. Yeah.
right? So it's come a long, long way. Back then, I didn't even think I was gonna get past you, let alone 3 years later, right?
At least I didn't, at least I didn't cause any, at least I didn't cause you channel to fold. So I feel good about that. So, but yeah, it's really what you're doing with this. I know you and I had talked about this, in chats when we'd be on a live stream, and then once we got to talking, personally, as far as texting and talking, back and forth about it, you know, it was a great idea, and it's I've watched it, grow to this, and if there's any success, I wish for you, it's with this right here, and it's I tell you. But watching your channel over the years, we've all been supporters of each other's channels. Uh, going on, I know I've been on YouTube for 7 years now. So, and I know that's where pretty much where you and I first met was I think on the first Friday night hangouts. So that was a long, long time ago.
So actually, it's before that, right? Because it was the top 10 list is where I found you.
You're right. I actually I had forgot about that, and that was one of the factors that got me into doing videos on YouTube. I got to Chevy Cheeseburger, Chip Reimer.
Right.
I met him at Acme probably 10 years ago, and started buying a lot of products through Extreme Scale, and it took some arm twisting and uh and such, to get me to do a YouTube channel. But yeah, when we used to do the Chevy Cheeseburger top 10, that was fun. I know that's probably where you and our paths first crossed, was right there.
No, I mean it's pretty cool that that idea sprung out so many people to join YouTube. because there's quite a bit of people that started doing that to see kind of where they were at, right? But
Yeah.
and then it was like, and then your channel just blew up from there because that's where everybody found you.
Yeah, it was. I tell you what, I mean, I'm gonna piggyback off what I just said. If it wasn't for channels like yours, and I'm gonna name drop. I mean, you got like Chip Reimer, which was Chevy Cheeseburger, top 10. Fast Jimmy. Matter of fact, I was in there trying to find my Fast Jimmy shirt. I told you I was straightening up in here in the shop, and I was trying to find my Chicken Grease Garage shirt. I don't know I don't know where the hell it's at, but I got to looking for it. But it's Fast Jimmy, CT Speed Shop. CT Speed Shop was one of them that really helped blow my channel off the map. He gave me one shout out one time, and it was after a Acme show, and it was just like my subscriber count went from here to, I mean, I was just like, wow. And and then there's Shane Harrell with Man Cave Models, Tim Halsey, which I got to spend a little bit of time with both those guys last Saturday at AtlantaCon. And we just kind of sat back and reminisced and chewed the fat a little bit about our builds and our what coming up on YouTube like we did. But I mean, if it wasn't for channels like that, and everyone out there that watches my channel, that are loyal subscribers, and I tell y'all what, I thank y'all very much for for putting up with my antics and my builds, and just like I always said, I promised everyone on YouTube that I would put forth, good content, and that was, if you go back to my first video, that was my promise, was to, give good content. If you get a laugh every now and then, hey, I feel like I've done my job.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's yeah, I mean, it's definitely one of the cool things about your channel is you're known for mostly pro street, but you like do a military plane every so often. You're not just cars, and that's cool to see also.
Yeah, that's I get that question a lot too, Josh. They people's like, how come you don't build more armor? Why don't you build more aircraft? Well, number one, I build more cars because that's where I cut my teeth growing up, was just being I was just a hot rodder. And that's what I'm still passionate about it. I can actually own every car that I ever wanted and have them in my room and here in the hobby room than out there in the garage, because it costs so darn much to build a real 1-to-1 scale pro street car like that. But I can have every hot rod I ever wanted sitting up here on this shelf right here. Why do I not build aircraft? I work on the damn things all day, and that's the last thing I want to do is build an aircraft sometimes. So, but matter of fact, I've got I got one that's I've been working on this one for a while. This is one of the Blue Angels F-16s that I've been working on. So, just it's a work in progress. So I'm gonna be doing a kind of a little, I wouldn't say a diorama, but it's where I've got a shadow box built, and it's going to be actually flying out of the shadow box with the smoke trail coming off of it. So be looking for that, but coming up not soon. I got to get, man. Josh and I was talking a while ago, and it was I've got the NASCAR group build. It's sitting right here in front of me on my desk that I actually, if I ever worked from home, that was where I used to work. And then my bench, it's over here. This is my assembly bench. I've got it's actually the car that I benched race on the new episode of bench racing with Fred and Lucas E. So we finally got it into paint this week, and it's sitting over there drying. So just got a lot of things going on in the shop. So trying to start, finish up a aircraft is the last thing that's on my mind right now. And, between that and going to a lot of shows here in the last few weeks or months.
Yeah, it seems like you've been at a show every two weeks, it seems like, since the start of the year.
Yeah,
Right?
since Acme. Acme was in November, and we get through the holidays, and then January rolls around. JaxCon comes up, and then we had AtlantaCon last weekend. So I got the Phantom Flashers show, which is it's the Birmingham IPMS group. They're holding their show April the 1st in Anniston, Alabama, and I always go over support that club over there each year. So it's my my plate's a little full right now, and then helping Jeff with the NASCAR group bill. We've been kind of that's a handful as far as that. Jeff and we talked about doing this for years, and we pulled the string on it this year, and it's really been fun. And I've started I started this bench racing with Lucas C, and that's really that's really been fun. That's quite an honor. I watched Lucas C for years, and never would imagine I'd be sitting down doing a show with him like that. So that's taken a lot of the time also. So yeah, been it's kind of burning the candle at both ends, but it's been a hell of a ride. Really enjoying it.
So Jeff says you should pro street a plane, genius.
That's my buddy. That's my buddy. That's
right?
my buddy Jeff. He wants me to do everything and anything. We're gonna keep this as I told you, you're gonna get a tame version of Pappy today. So I'm gonna keep the Jeff Award out of the scene right now.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way. No, so let's talk about the group build for a second. You said it's been a couple years in the making. Why did we wait so long to pull it out?
Well, of course, with COVID, and we kind of hinged it off of, if you remember during COVID of 2020, I did a thing that was called the Coronavirus 500 group build, which was basically where you take a NASCAR group, or you take a NASCAR kit, and you build it after a livery of a race, a NASCAR driver that has passed away. Which I did the Neil Bonnet Valvoline car, and we had guys out there that did. Oh my God, there was just so many Dale Earnhardts, and but that was one of the things that was the criteria to it, and we kind of hinged the NASCAR group build off of that, which it's it's actually, I forget, and Jeff's probably gonna give me grief about this. I know that we're over. It's close to 100. It was 180 members that has joined the NASCAR group build. So it's that we've been talking about it for a few years, but just between my scheduling and Jeff's scheduling, he works out of town a lot. At the time, I was a manager, which I've just recently I stepped down as a manager back in July from where I work at. I work for probably one of the world's largest airlines, and it was just I wanted to spend more time with my hobby and spend more time here at the house instead of being on my phone working all the time. So, and I get the best of both worlds. Now I can dedicate more time, and two, I'm pretty close to retirement. In 19 more days, I turn 60, so I'm gonna pull that string here pretty soon of called retirement. We're even thinking about relocating back, or not relocating, but relocating down to Florida here pretty soon. So who knows?
Unicycle? That's funny, Rick.
Wow. Yeah. Matter of fact, I think it only takes one fat tire to do that.
Sorry. I mean, that was, well, I mean,
Hey, I could build two then because I'd have an extra tire. I could build 2 unicycles.
no, I mean, that's cool that you're getting close to retirement.
Yeah, it's my brother. I've only got one brother, and he's 8 years older than I am, and that's been one of our. We live pretty close to each other now, and he's basically about all I've got as far as our parents are both deceased now, so and he's thinking about moving down to St. Augustine himself, so I may, and he's already retired, so they're thinking about moving down there, and I could. We like being in Florida a lot. We spend a good majority of our time vacation wise in Florida. So and I got good friends down in Florida. That's somewhere down in that area. St. Augustine, Daytona. I got Old Tom Rambler 69. They're down there. Rick Scott, Heartbeat Model Shop. He's pretty close in that area. Papa Dan, he's up in St. Augustine. Jacksonville, and Matthew with Model Car Videos. He's up in close to Brunswick. So why not? Hey, time to retire. Let's move to the coast.
Yeah, not so close to the hurricanes, but just nice enough for the weather, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. When the hurricanes come, we'll move. We'll come up. We'll jump in the car or the truck, and we'll take off back to where home used to be.
That's funny.
I still got a lot of friends up here, but when you get old, I say when you get old, hell, I'm only turning 60, but it's time to unwind, start to enjoy the spoils of life.
Yeah, luckily you got a hobby now that you'll have something to do while you're retired that you'll enjoy doing, right?
Yeah, true. I mean, it's I kind of say this tongue in cheek because I know there's some guys in the chat that's going to say, hey, you're over hobbied. But between, building scale models, I just picked up, just jumped back into the RC hobby back during Christmas. I bought a Traxxas RC truck, so kind of playing with it a little bit. I've got other hobbies, which is related to. I know you and I have talked about it for years, but I've got another expensive hobby called firearms. So that's another something that I enjoy sending lead down range, popping off a few pew-pews, and target shooting, things like that. But there's places down there in Florida to do it, to do that also. But
no, I'm a big Second Amendment guy, so I completely understand that one. There's nothing better, and you can actually set a model on top of it if it pisses you off bad enough. Set it on top of Tannerite. That model just doesn't last.
Yeah. Been let's just say I've been on the reciprocatory end of Tannerite, where having to explain why something went boom. That's all I need to say right there.
Oops.
Yeah. Let's just say that you get a lot of Tannerite in one area. Yeah, you tend to get somebody's going to come check and see what's going on. Trust me.
I agree, and that's why that stuff's cool. So we're gonna change gears back to the hobby.
Cool.
You had just built an airbrush station. What was that process like?
Man, that was I tell you what, when you've been spraying into a empty Miller Lite box for 4 or 5 years, it tends to get a lot of buildup. But it's messy. And I do the majority of my painting out in our garage. And with that being said, when you get a lot of overspray. Overspray on the ground. And not only that, when your HVAC, your furnace is out there, it's drawing that back into the house. Especially when the air conditioning comes on in the summer, and when during the winter when it's when the
Yeah.
heat comes on. So I was trying to get eliminate that, and I looking at a lot of people's the airbrush the paint booths that are out there that are readily available on the market. I've watched a lot of different videos regarding the plastic stations, the metal stations, the ones that are made out of plastic or metal. And I was just like, and I'm kind of a jack of all trades and master of none. I love wood. I love doing woodworking. So I just went ahead and just kind of drew me something, put pen to paper, come up with some dimensions, and picked out basically the fan is nothing but a glorified bathroom exhaust fan, your old, bathroom fart fan, and come up with some creative innovations to where instead of venting it outside the wall, I vented it from the exhaust fan down to it's a 2-gallon paint bucket that you can buy readily available at your Home Depot, Lowe's, or something like that. And you just take that exhaust tube and vent it down to it and fill that up with maybe some kind of a medium. And I'm just using a bunch of old shop towels that I've had laying around. So anything that doesn't get caught in the pre-filter, right there in the paint booth itself, the majority of it gets right there. So that filter is interchangeable. So when it gets, where it can't suck any more air out, I'll pull that off, put a new one. I'll change it out about a month, every month. But then anything else that gets discharged down into that the filter doesn't catch, it'll go down into that medium right there. And then I can always take that off and wash that out and, start over again. And then if the fan lets go, hey, I can run right up the street right here to Home Depot and replace that. But really just trying to eliminate odors in the house, as far as when I spray lacquers, boy, I mean you can pretty much well tell that there's lacquer been sprayed out there in the garage. And that has Vicky came home the other night. I was spraying on the floor pan chassis on this Nova. And she'd come in the house and she didn't even notice it. I mean, normally she's like, "Hey, you been out there spraying?" I'm like, "Yeah." So I just kind of, I came up with that idea, and I showed her, did a video on it, hoping it, it might spark somebody else's elimination. The price that I got in it is less than, probably $50. So, most of your paint booths are, they range anywhere from possibly, 60 on up. I've seen them, high as $300. So
That one's 400. I didn't
like
pay
I
that,
said,
but
like I said, yeah. I mean, but if I can, if I can dream it, I can build it, or I'm
right.
going to anyhow.
No, I mean, that's really cool that, and you kind of showed in that video, and the link for that video is in the description. That's how if you're not subscribed to Fred, that's, but it's really cool how you got the switch to go on there. And then it's on a stand or something, right?
Yeah, we had an old, matter of fact, it was in here in my hobby room. I had a printer back during when we were working from home. I had a printer sitting over here on it, and it was just, I mean, it was top heavy, and I was just like, one of these days I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna bump that thing, and this $1,000 printer is going, which our company paid for it, is going to fall off in the floor. So I went ahead and made a big stand for it to sit on in here that's more user friendly, and I've got all my magazines and stuff on it. I got our router and our everything else up under it. But I took that stand, and I was going to take it to Goodwill and give it away there. And I got to looking, I was like, shit, that's the same size and about the, what I want to use for this paint booth. So I just set it on top of it. It's on wheels. When I get finished, I can unplug it, roll it out of the way of the shop. And I've got I took one of my little creeper stools that, when I'm washing the car or something, I sit down on. It's on wheels, and I can move that stuff around and still have room in the shop to do whatever I need to do.
No, I mean it's really cool, and not everybody would show that either, right? All the little things that make that work,
Yeah,
which is why your channel's really cool, right?
Yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But yeah, I mean, it's yeah, but it's things that I put out on my channel, as far as content. Back when I showed up on YouTube, I was always searching on YouTube for tips, techniques, things like this. And I was like, why don't why is it everybody not sharing this kind of intel? So, and that was one of the things that I like to if I've got a tip or an idea, it don't necessarily mean it's the correct way, but it's always but at least it's something somebody can take. It's always it takes a spark to start a fire. So same thing. Maybe a tip or a technique or an idea will put a spark in somebody else, and they'll hinge off of that and come up with a better way of doing something. I mean, that's what all this is about, and that's what makes this community so great. We have live streams, things like that. And we're always sharing. It's a sharing community that hey, I did it this way. Well, okay, how'd that work out for you? Well, there was a guy on YouTube a long time ago. I forgot his name, and he was talking about trying to decant paint. And oh my God, it was so funny the way he described it. But he said, I took an ice pick, took a can of spray paint, and I shanked it with the ice pick. He said, my best blue tick hound is now a red tick hound, and he's running. And he said it just didn't come out so good. It wasn't a good outcome for him. So I was just like, but it was so funny the way he described it. So. But yeah, don't do as I do. Don't do as I say. Just take the idea and run with it from there.
So talk about the group, you, Brian, Rick Zink, because you guys got a really unique. I'm gonna call it a family, but you guys got a really unique group of friends there.
They're great. I mean, I can't. Wow. I mean, these guys like Rick Zink. I mean, I've had the honor and the privilege of just about. I mean, I've shook hands, hugged them. They've been there. We've been there for each other, and it is exactly what you just said, a family. I got a great. I mean, and I'm sure I'm gonna screw up and leave somebody out, but everybody that's that comes on the lives with us, whether Rick Zink, and I'm gonna look down through the chat right here. I mean, we've got Cliff there at GI Mechanics, Frizzo, Papa Z, Taylor right here. I've known Taylor, Two Tiles Model Car Garage, for years. He's been a big advocate of my channel, and I've promoted his for years. Just awesome. I mean, just awesome people. I mean, I see Marcy right here. Bless her heart. I think the world of her. She gets in there and she hangs with the best of us, man. I tell you, I love her to death. But it's a family. It's exactly what it is. And whether you come in there and you hang out with us for 1 minute, or if you've been with us for I've been on YouTube 7 years. If you've been there for 7 years, you're part of my family. And going back to with Rick Zink right there, when Rick lost his daughter to COVID a couple of years ago, we did a group bill for his daughter, and that was I'm gonna try to say this and not get choked up, because the day I handed him the car that I built for him at the Acme show for that Corvette, that's what it's all about, is giving back. And they're all families, they're brothers and sisters. So, here's and here's Seamus right here. Seamus, he's over across the pond. Man, I got brothers and sisters. I got Seamus over in Ireland. I got Al Wood over in England. I got KC down in Australia. I never would have imagined I would reach out and communicate, through my love for this hobby, for this little chunk of plastic right here would link me to so many people in this world, and it's great. I mean, it's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, and that's one of the other things I like about the YouTube community is, like, we're all willing to help, share, push each other,
Exactly.
even if it's to tell Jeff to put the ferrets to work, right? Right?
Put the ferrets to work. Put Scully. I mean,
Right.
Rick Zink. He sent me a Scully. He sent me a Scully skeleton years ago, and now he's graduated to a wife now. So I got them two sitting over here on the bench. But it's the camaraderie. It's getting to, getting together on the weekends, Friday nights, Saturday nights. I can't do it. Some nights I'm wore out, and if I don't get on there, it ain't because I'm mad at anybody. It's just I'm tired, and But you can bet your bottom dollar I'm gonna be in the chat, stirring that pot around. So.
You don't say.
That's all I'm gonna say about that. That's all
Right.
I'm gonna say about that.
Right.
And then we're talking about extended families, extremities models right here. Josh, oh my gosh, I mean, we got he and I and Brian. I mean, Brian, I didn't even think Brian was going to make it to AtlantaCon. I already knew me and Josh was going to be there, but here comes Brian, comes walking in, and I'm like, God, it's like seeing part of your family. Come walking in that you hadn't seen in a while. So it's it just does your heart good to see that you've reached out and you've touched a lot of people in this community. And with Jeff, Jeff did this appreciation. You wouldn't believe the fun I've had with that. Everybody's been like, "Hey, did Pappy die or something?" I'm like, "What? No, man, I ain't died." Well, they're doing a dedication bill. It's not a dedication bill. It's a freaking appreciation bill. So I ain't dead yet. So, but I've been on that reciprocatory end with that as well. Oh my God. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm looking around the room here. Brian gave me the kit, the 69 Camaro that he built for me for my build. He gave that to me last weekend. Monty Davis gave me the 51 Chevy that he built. Taylor shipped me out his Firebird that he built. Charlie Mack sent me his 32 Highboy that was in a million pieces when I got it, but I turned around and rebuilt it. So that was, that it just, it does my heart, does my heart good to know that, people, there's caring people out there. You just got to sort through it, through the good with the bad.
Right. Which is, unfortunately there are some bad apples, but for the most part, there's way more positive and good ones that overweigh that, which is awesome.
Well, it is. I mean, it's, I didn't get into this to be a keyboard pirate or a warrior, but you can, you can bet your, and I'm gonna say it, and, you know, you can bleep it out, whatever, but you can bet your ass if you pick on, if you pick on some of my family, you're gonna get the wrath of me. I'm sorry if I, you know, if I think the world of someone and you pick on them, I'm gonna speak my piece, and sometimes it's a heavy foot.
So before you were on YouTube, were you watching YouTube for modeling?
Yeah, I was. Which, you know, I started my YouTube channel December of 2016, which was it'll be 7 years in December. But I used to would watch. You know, I would get on, and I was building. I mean, I was building the whole time. I just wasn't posting content. And I would watch Young Model Master and Skylar Jahola and Kissy Boy, Clifton Smith. I'd watch them on Friday Night Hangout, and I'm trying to think. There was Terry Blackerby. He was in it. Rest in peace, Terry, because he was he's passed away since then. And Martin Zeller, he was another. And I was watching these guys, and I was like, wow, you know, these are, you know, Chevy Cheeseburger would come in on it also. And, you know, that was stuff that I would watch I was probably watching them probably 3 years before I even thought about a YouTube channel. And when I first, first model show I went to, when I met Chip Reimer, I was like, oh my God, dude, you know, hey, you know, I watch you all the time. Showed him some of my builds, and he's like, why ain't you got a channel? I was just like, because my stuff sucks. He's like, you need a channel. I was just like, whatever. You know, I would probably you know, Vicky would watch me, and maybe my brother. You know, I figured that would be all I'd ever get, would be two subscribers. And you know, the rest is, I wouldn't say history, but you know, I'm not one of those guys that keeps up with how many subs I've got. I've never been like that. I don't, you know, people ask me, hey, have you monetized yet? No, didn't get into this to make money. But you know, looking at the, you know, all the analytics and everything, it might be something, you know, down the road, just not right now.
Well, you know, I mean, there's that route, right, where you have to make a decision, but you also have to make that decision that, like, you have to care enough that people are watching.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I mean, that was the whole purpose of the, you know, like the Meet the Modeler. I wanted to try to bring in more people to watching my channel.
Yeah.
And you got to provide content to do that, right? You can't just sit there and complain, you know. You have to either do something about it, or, you know, and some people just don't get that. But, you know, some people
they don't. Yeah, but I mean, just like I said from, you know, the first video I ever posted, you know, welcome to West Georgia Rods and Customs, you know, best little hot rod shop that the South has to offer. But I promised everybody, you know, good quality builds, good quality content, nothing boring. And, you know, and we'll see where it goes from there. And 7 years later, lo and behold, people are still watching. So made a hell of a lot of friends too over these 7 years. And I tell you what, it's just great. I love it.
Well, and Todd's got kind of where I was kind of trying to go with this. Like, there's pillars of the community, right? And I want to say you're one of those pillars now, because you've gotten such an influence on the hobby now. That's why I was curious to see who you were watching when you first came in. Because for me now, when I first started, it was Chris Cortell, Dr. Cranky, Gil. He may not agree with that, but Gil. And then you had like CT Speed or Fast Jimmy. Fast Jimmy was a big one for the automotive guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. And still, I still to this day, matter of fact, spoke with Jimmy about probably about 2 weeks ago. So we still stay in contact with each other. And but there's others that fell by the wayside. They've either gotten out of the hobby, they've stopped posting, or becoming, or stopped doing, creating content for YouTube. So that's another, that dives off into another rabbit hole, with this with with Lucas E, Mark Batson, Hobby Dude 007.
Yeah,
They
right.
started the Unified Scale Auto Content Creators of YouTube, and the first year that we kind of we did that, it was more of a invite. It wasn't, hey, I want to join this. It was an invite to some of the builders, in the community that did that, and I was one of them, and we built the 40 Ford. I almost had a senior moment there, but we built the 40 Ford, and that was just great. And then this year, Mark comes back, and I think, well, LC was the one that picked the 40 Ford, and now Mark chose the GTX this year and the Roadrunners. So, and then after here in, I think, March 15th, when we drop our videos, final videos for the build, they, once everybody's done with them, I know that Tim, I don't want to screw his name up, but he just has started a YouTube channel, Tim Kolakowitz. But anyhow, Tim's custom. Frank Frizzo did a shout out for him this week, and Tim he's actually he works for he's a writer for Model Car Magazine, so he's wanting to possibly do an article about this, USAC group build and how many people, and probably I mean, I don't know, but if you've got one of the builds, they probably would like to, make some content in Model Car Magazine. And that's another, hinging off of that, I never would have thought I'd ever have a car, one of my builds, in a magazine. And man, it's fun knowing that you're fixing to have some content going to either Fine Scale or Model Car Magazine, or now the Scale Auto. They're not in business anymore, but getting out there and reaching out to guys like Tim, Wes at Model Car Magazine. Me and Brian got to spend a little bit of time with him last weekend at AtlantaCon. So. But it's regardless, if you're going to the shows a lot, or you're trying to do content on YouTube or what have you, it's always it's part of the icing on the cake.
Right. I mean, it's always awesome to see that too, right?
It is, yeah, it is. It's everybody's, and when I go to shows, if I mean, y'all can see a few of the awards, the accolades to it. That's not what I go for. I go to have fun with my buddies. And if anybody that ever comes to Acme or to any of the shows that I meet some of my gut buds at, you never know. It's kind of like Forrest Gump. You never know what you're going to get. we have a blast. We have fun.
So I want to end the conversation today with, when are you going to paint a figure?
How many of y'all want to see a cross-eyed Tammy Faye Baker on a bad makeup and hair day? Raise your hand, because that's what you're going to get.
I call BS. But...
Oh man, gee, Josh, that's soon. I would like to. I mean, everybody knows the genre that I build as far as automotive, and I do armor. I do, I make, I do aircraft. I do little small vignettes also of military. But to do a bust, from here, head high, soon. I'd like to find the medium to do. I'm a history buff. I can thank my brother that's a retired history teacher for that. But, maybe doing an old Civil War general, maybe find a bust of maybe Robert E. Lee or Ulysses S. Grant or anybody, like that, but possibly doing something like that. Yeah, I can see that in my future. With the 3D printing, maybe I can, I've got I've got you, I've got Gil as a resource. I've got Kenny Conklin at HLI, Hobby Link International. I mean, you guys are, you are the guys that I watch for, to get tips, and techniques about, painting figures, 3D printing. I don't know how many times I've reached out to you about this rabbit hole that I went off in last year with 3D printing. So we got Miguel over at Hobbyworks. He's been instrumental in, helping us with 3D prints and everything. So, but in lieu to the printing of a figure and me actually, doing it soon.
Well, you did jump down the rabbit hole for 3D printing. How have you liked that being the process of, because you have a resin printer, right? You don't have
I got it. I got the Photon Mono and the Photon curing wash cure station. It's out in the garage. Vicky does not want it in here. It's not due to the smell. It's just due to, anybody that uses it knows it's kind of a messy process. I'd rather it be out there myself, but it's awesome. I've got a lot of files in my laptop right here that, and like for instance, the car that I'm working on right now, this 66 Nova kit. It's just I took and turned it into a gasser, and I just took a Ron Olson blown Brodex engine file, and I had it printed up in 30 minutes, washed it, cured it. It's great. I love it. I use it, I use it a lot. I've got a lot of Ron Olson files. I've got some of Miguel's Hobbyworks. He and I, one of these days I'm going to pull out the stops on a 1/12 scale 69 Camaro. Probably do a Pro Street on it. He and I talked about that at the Acme show this year. So who knows? But it's something that do I feel like it's going to kill our hobby? No, it's not going to kill our hobby. It's actually going to make our hobby better.
Well, I agree with that. I build a lot of different things, so I get probably way more use out of the printer than, say, like a car guy, because you're only going to print out certain things. But I just like how the quality of 3D printing has gotten so much better. And it jumps. Like every 3 or 4 months, it just jumps in quality.
It does. It's to see the level of detail and I've done a lot of resin casting also, and the quality of detail. Now, if I was to try to cast the heads on this Brodex engine, the valve covers, I wouldn't get the crispness of where it spells out Brodix in a resin cast. It would kind of be rounded. The looking at the detail on the valve covers of the on this Ron Olson file, man, it is crisp. I'm gonna be able to pick the letters out with probably a black Sharpie. That'll be probably what I'll do with it. So that's a great question right there. Do I feel that 3D printing is cost effective for the hobbyist? Tit for tat, it can be, and then it can't be. If you're going to buy a good 3D printer, and a curing and wash station, and then all the products, and then the files, it can be. But if you're just going to buy it for one time and use it for one time and then go, I give up, it's not. No. I was hoping that maybe I could sit down and possibly learn some some CAD programs, but it's kind of hard to teach an old horse new tricks, kind of so to say. But I mean, I don't. When I can reach out there, I can call up Miguel and say, "Hey, bub, I need this." 20 minutes later, I got it sitting in my email. So. But yeah, it's if you're gonna buy it to play with, that's one thing. If you're gonna buy it to make money with it, which that never crossed my mind, but if you're buying it to make to eliminate going out and buying, and I'm gonna put myself out there on the hook and stop me from buying 67 Chevelle kits. That'll never happen. But it's I'll eventually find, get enough files and stuff to where, I'll just, but then again too, I got a stash out there that's, I'm going to plead the fifth on.
Jeff, go back to the ferrets.
Hey, Josh, you got to cut him off. He will talk forever. Jeff, you're gonna get all kind of fingers up a while.
My dad used to same similar. If you own a metal detector but never use it, it won't pay for itself. And that's true.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but it's it's the usefulness of it. Am I using it like I wanted to? No, but is it there? It's better to need it and not have it than or it's better to, the saying I'm trying to figure out. Well, I don't want Jeff chiming in and say he'll talk forever. So
whatever. Jeff can.
Yeah.
He says he'll be waiting.
Yeah. I'm gonna keep it PG. So
right.
Oh, golly.
No, I mean it. I don't know. I like the 3D printing thing for me because I do all kinds of different things. It's just crazy how even the PLA side of it's not incredibly difficult once you get it down, but it's that learning how to do everything. That's the part that, kind of can make and break that part of it, right?
Yeah, it is. It's a learning curve, and once you get past that learning curve, that's when it becomes enjoyable. Yeah.
Right. Because I know here I'd have almost thrown that resin printer out through the freaking wall the first probably month I had it.
Yeah. Same way with airbrushing. People reach out to me all the time. Do you airbrush or do you rattle can? Hey, I've got an airbrush. Do I use it? Yeah. Is it easier to airbrush or rattle can? You got to learn both of them. So, don't, what kind of airbrush do you recommend? Start out cheap, work your way up. Once you learn mixture, ratio, air pressures, and, the whole 9 yards. And then they go, well, I bought this, and I bought a $200 Pache. Do you want to buy it? Yeah, I'll give you $50 for it, but I'm not paying you $200 for it.
Right. Absolutely, I get that. So we've hit about that hour mark. It's crazy. It's been almost an hour. Right?
Imagine that. I, just like Jeff says, I talk forever. Jeff's been talking to Charlie Mack. I can see when he gets that New England accent. He's been talking to Mac today.
So, did you have any questions for me at all?
Actually, yes. I sat down. I sat down this morning. I get up at the crack crack of dawn every morning. But, and, you know, I mean, I was excited, you know, that you asked me to come back and do this, and kind of you know, I remember, you know, back at on the first interview I did, you know, I kind of came in haphazardly and wasn't prepared. But yeah, I prepared. I wanted to ask you one thing, as far as the question, and it's really been hinged upon, and it's kind of reflective upon my own channel, but it reflects on yours as well. But what do you want your legacy to be known for in our hobby? Everyone has a legacy, and when I say legacy, I kind of say it tongue in cheek. But you know, people, you know, when I go to shows, people's like, you know, hey, you're the guy that does all the pro street stuff, and I'm like, I'm one of the guys that does all the pro street stuff. I look back at like Butch at Full Throttle Customs. Man, he is the Mac Daddy on Pro Street, and he's the guy I take my hat off to. Tyrone Price, you know, builders like that. Those are guys that I look forward to, and I don't, you know, if I'm somewhere in that scale with those builders, I feel like that. That's kind of my legacy. But what would you like for your legacy to be in the hobby?
You know, believe it or not, I've never really thought about that, because I mean, I started doing the channel as something, you know, like my son could go back and watch, right?
Yeah.
So that's some of it, and then the other part is how much fun I'm having doing this. I think I have a great sense of humor. Other people don't get it, right? Right? Like,
yeah, I know. We all, yeah. I mean, I've got a warped sense of humor. Yours, you can be kind of dry, but there's sometimes I just sit there and go, "Damn, Josh, did you really say that? That was funny." I mean,
right.
we'll be in hangouts, and I'm just like, "Damn, bro, that was funny."
Right. It's like, I think I have a great sense of humor. Other people just don't get it.
Yeah, but I know, and you know, I know you and I and Jeff, when we started the NASCAR group bill, you know, one of the rules was, you know, no snap kits, and everybody's like, you know, in it, you know, I got thick skin. I've got just the thickest hell skin it comes to on a human being. Everybody, you know, everybody's like, oh, Pappy's going to do us, you know, and then they started, oh, he's snappy Pappy. You know what? I let that hit me at the top of the head and roll back down the crack of my back. But, you know, and then we started, you know, we were, you know, and Jeff and I even, you know, you were thinking about doing a snap kit NASCAR, which, you know, really that was one of the rules. But, you know, it was, you know, we was like, come on, Josh, now, come on, we'll send you a kit. We ain't got a problem to do that. That's we're all interconnected, but yeah, but yeah, we just want to, you know, it's just the fun and the camaraderie that we all have. But you know, we would pick at you about that, and you know, hey, you'd pick back. You know, you dish it out as good as we can dish it out ourselves. But it's all in good fun.
No, Jeff, that is not. So this guy doesn't read very well. That's part of my genetic code. I'll just leave it at that. So, like, I'll just skim everything and be like, oh, okay, it's NASCAR group build. Okay, you know, and I spaced. So that's the NASCAR kit I had. So I was going, okay, I'll just do this. Did the intro video.
Yeah.
And then Jeff hits me back, you know, like, we're not allowing snap kit builds. And then my first response back is, what's Fred building? You know, like, and I get this LOL back. You know, it's just,
I'll never live that down. I'll never live a snap kit down. But it's all in good fun. I mean, if you can't, poke fun. If you can't poke fun at yourself, you know,
right.
You ain't living life. And I'll take a joke and just roll with it. I'll turn it back on some people sometimes.
and I'm the first guy that has no problem saying, okay, that was wrong. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. That was meant to be funny, or it wasn't meant to come across that way. I'm sorry. I'm a big guy about that. I have no problem saying, oh, I messed up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it that way. And I've had to do that a couple times on my channel because this guy thinks he has a great sense of humor, which sometimes I don't. I'm the first one to say it.
Yep, me too. I mean, if I step on your toes, hey, I'm sorry, but I still love you.
Right. So that's the first question. What's the next one?
That was it. Actually, damn, you really want me to? I didn't know I was going to be
I didn't know if you know.
I didn't know I was going to be a 2-question guy today. Nah.
No, it's fine.
Nah. I guess really my second question: do you? What do you see yourself building 5 years from now?
Oh, 5 years from now?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Because I look back at myself and I go, I've been with YouTube going on, right at 6.5, 7 years now. And, I'm still building. I never would have thought I would build aircraft. I never would have thought I'd do armor. I never would have thought I would do, a vignette. I always see myself building, cars and trucks. But do you see yourself in 5 years, diving off in a rabbit hole, with RC? Your son's getting older, and are you going to you see yourself possibly, kind of sidelining the hobby and, getting, involved with him doing something else that he enjoys?
So sidelining the hobby is never going to happen. I will say that up front. I might take like the summer off, like of YouTube, like the modeler thing will probably end in late May, but I'm still going to post videos of the channel. It may not be as much or it might be more. I don't know. But the summer, it's going to be, like trips to the coast, that kind of thing. Cause he's 10 now. So we can actually, he's able to go out and do a little more things, and summertime I don't think is going to work for the YouTube channel. I'm just, 5 years from now, holy cow. I can't think about what I'm going to build next week, let alone 5 years from now. You know what? Do you remember back in the 80s and 90s, the Star Wars kits where they got the dioramas and.
Yeah.
I have like 7 of the 8 of those that they have out.
Wow.
So some guy near me was selling all of them, well, all but the one, for like $60. Like he was just trying to get out of the hobby. And I was like, those are coming to my house.
Yeah, that's my last 5 years, but 7 years ago, I remember when I could set my stash of model cars right here beside me. Actually, I used to keep like 5 or 6 up under my desk, and that was kind of my automotive junkyard that I'd go rob parts out of. And now, you move forward, 6, 7 years now. I don't even want to talk about what's out there, and I'm sure if I was to pass away in the next 5 years, Vicky could probably have a yard sale and sell each kit for $1 and probably live comfortably for a while. I'm just going to say that.
Just on the Chevelle kits.
I'm still pleading the fifth on that. Still pleading the fifth on the Chevelle kits. Matter of fact, I'm gonna take a page out of BG's and LC's playbook. When we get finished with this video, I'm going to the hobby shop. I'm going to Hobbytown USA. And as soon as Vicky gets here, we're going out to eat. But you can bet your butt I'm gonna be at Hobbytown USA. Now, might even make a trip by Hobby Lobby too. So never can tell.
No, I mean it's, and there's also things like in my stash that I have one of the it's like the 3-foot long B-52 bomber. That's going to be, coming up. I have a bunch of the Star Trek stuff. The U.S. Constitution. That is going to be a big one for me, I think.
Wow.
That Revell kit I think it's like 2 feet long, I think. It's one of the bigger ones. I'm definitely going to be doing that. I got to learn how to be better with like learning how to paint wood, for that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be one of the things coming up. But yeah, I build so much different stuff from like resin printed parts, figures, cars, military stuff. I mean, I have an Abrams tank that I'll pull it out every so often because I really want to build it. And then I open the box and look at all that little bitty stuff in the Tamiya kit and be like, no, I'm putting the box. It goes back up there. It's like,
I know. I've got a USS Enterprise sitting out there. I started on it a couple of years ago, and I'll do a little bit, slide it back in the box. Will I ever finish it? Who knows?
Right. I mean, it's and then Jeff just chimed in about Gundams. I actually like building Gundams. They're fun, but it's also something my son likes to build too. That's some of it too.
Yeah, that's that's great too. It's something you and him can share. Together. And I could see you and him doing that 5 years from now. Getting him more involved in that. So with me, I mean, I've got my son's 32 years old. I've got 2 grandchildren. I got a granddaughter and a grandson. So, they may come over here one day and, raid Papa's stash. Who knows? If they do, there you go. Have at it. Carry it to your house. Carry it to your house. Paint your mom and dad's, couch with whatever I give you, and see you.
Right. That's funny, Marcy. Tamiya kits, not today, Satan. Yeah, I like that.
Oh, wait. Yeah, I got a few of those as well. Matter of fact, got some ideas for a future Tamiya kit. So
I like Frizzo and them challenged me to do a Tamiya motorcycle, and I was looking at that this last week, and I'm probably going to end up doing that. But
yeah,
I got to find cash first because I got a couple things in the I got to pay for first.
So do the grandchildren call you Papa Snappy? Oh God, me and Jeff's gonna have a talk in the morning. but I have some coffee, bro. That's all I got to.
No, I mean, hopefully that answered that question for you. I've got a bunch of different stuff, so it's You got any other questions for me?
No. What time's dinner? That's about the only question I probably got, and I ain't heard a little blue-eyed blonde come in yet, so it's probably gonna be late. So, she'll probably wait till Hobbytown USA closes to get home. So anyway, then off to Outback we go.
Well, yeah. No, I was gonna say it's barely past lunch for me. Yeah, it's only noon here, so
yeah. I was fixing to say that's one of the virtues of living on the left coast. I'm on the right coast, so
yeah, but I'm on the best coast.
Oh God, man!
Right.
First time I've ever heard that.
No, I mean it's it's a good comeback. That's about all
Yeah.
it's all it is. It's
It is. I mean, for 6.5 one dozen the other. I know you and I talked about this before the show. Living out on the Pacific West like that, it's got its advantages, it's got its disadvantages. Same as over here on on the Eastern Seaboard. Yesterday, I mean, I came home knowing that we were under tornado warnings, thunderstorm warnings, and about 4 o'clock, man, I'm looking out there. The trees are out there doing this. That's just one of the things you have to learn to live with. Just like if we move down to become Floridians, we got to learn to take the good with the bad. Bad day on the beach, and then a good day on the beach is going to turn into a bad day when the hurricanes come. So we'll see.
I mean, and like weather, right? It's not necessarily you handle it bad. It's the guy next to you that's handling it bad, and you got to slap him into submission, or at least out of it to where he like snaps into attention.
Yeah, it's just like yesterday. I mean, Vicky and I both got home at the same time, and the winds was already picking up, and there was my trash can turned over sideways, and out there in the front of the garage. Hell, I couldn't even get in the garage, and I had to get it, and then we had to go outside, kind of, wrangle up the patio furniture a little bit and get them because we knew that we knew the weather was going to get bad, and if we hadn't have done that, sure, a tornado would have came, and I'd been down there trying to find all my damn lawn furniture today. So.
I mean, this last week for me, it's been snow. Like it snowed here for 3 days.
Don't even say that 4-letter word.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it never stuck around long enough unless you're in Northern California. But
true, yeah. Well, look at LA. I mean, LA this week, they had record snowfall. I'm like, geez, sucks to be y'all. I love the South.
Well, you know what? It was record snowfall because they don't get any.
yeah, true. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
right.
I mean, but I was looking back in my pictures of last year, March. I want to say it was March the 12th of last year. We had a little dusting of snow, nothing to paralyze the state. But I mean, I've seen snowfalls in March. I've seen snowfalls in April here in Georgia. So, but it's it's just a fluke when it does happen. So.
And then you want to slap the guy that drives the BMW that thinks nothing can happen to him if he drives faster.
Yep. And that's when you're making $50 when you're pulling his butt out of the ditch with your 4-wheel drive.
Oh no, that's the guy that you win America's Funniest Videos on because he's going to be doing somersaults in a minute.
Yeah, he goes ass over tea kettle when he slips and falls.
Right. I think she'll probably chime in, but I think she's in like Minnesota or Michigan. Or
I believe Marcy's in Michigan, and she posted yesterday that winter comes back again. Bless her heart, man. I tell you,
right, and they get snow.
They get snow. You are right. You are right.
But anyway, if you don't have any more questions for me, I think we're gonna call this a day.
Awesome. I really appreciate you having me on again. Appreciate, I want to, reach out there to everybody that's in this chat, and I want to thank each and every one of you. Y'all are, yes, Jeff, I am pantsless. I will stand up here in a minute and show you. So I've got shorts on. So,
Jeff, no, it won't. I can do this.
Oh gosh. But no, if I stand up and I ain't got that, that'll be the making of a new shop card. So I'm not even going to do that. No. He's already got 3 that he can throw out at any time. But no, really, Josh, I appreciate you having me on again. Everybody here that's it's in the chat, man. I tell y'all what, y'all, I love y'all and really appreciate each and every one of you. Have fun with each and every one of them when when we cross paths, either a show or if we're in a live or what have you. But really, I really think the world of each one of them. If there's anything I can do for any of them, I'll give you the shirt off my back when I can.
Yeah, and thank you for coming on again. I know we were going to try to promote the group build quite a bit, but we kind of went all over the place. So
that's all right. We have that squirrel moment, but yeah, if y'all are, all of you in the chat, if you ain't got in on the NASCAR group build, jump in on it. Be glad to have y'all. Just get you a NASCAR kit. Have fun with it. Make sure it ain't a snap kit, and keep gluing your fingers together. And look, LC says sawing that styrene, making that dust. So, but have fun with it. That's what this is all about.
All right. Thank you for coming on, Fred. I will talk to you in a couple minutes. Okay.
Got it.
All right, everybody. That was Fred. Cool guy. We get along really, really well. Thank goodness, because I don't want him on my bad side. Thank goodness. Okay. But like I was saying at the beginning, tomorrow is going to be the announcement for the 500 subscriber giveaway. I'm possibly giving away 2, maybe 3 things. I don't know, but at least 2. But I will see you guys next time. I cannot remember who's on next week. I probably should know that before too long. But I will see you guys. I want to say it's next Sunday, but don't quote me on it. Later, everybody.